It happened for like so. I'm in the mind, so it happened for me. Obviously, this is unfortunate and freaking 30 days of wholesaling houses, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta order a bunch of stuff today. Like, I gotta improvise, do probably just a regular video today. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to day 6 of 30 days of wholesaling houses. As promised, we're doing a video every single day this month showing you step by step how to make money wholesaling houses in your city. With that said, if you're new to the channel, make sure you start in day 1 of the playlist. You can find the playlist in my channel, and I highly recommend that you start from day 1 so you could follow the process along. And for those who don't know who I am, my name is Saenz. I'm a 23-year-old real estate entrepreneur here in Phoenix, Arizona. I started my real estate journey at the age of 18, and over the last few years, I've accomplished things that I could only have dreamed of. When I first started my real estate journey, I was living at a trailer park completely broke, and by wholesaling houses, it has allowed me to live a life that I could only have dreamed of. Guys, so when it comes to the 30 days of wholesaling houses, my intention is to show you step by step for absolutely free. You do not need to buy a course. I'm going to be showing you everything that you need to know to flip houses in your area. So again, if this is your first time on the channel, start in day 1 so you can follow the process and get informed and caught up to date. So with that said, guys, day 6 is in the books. Let's go. Alright guys, so for this lesson, day 6, excited to bring this video to you guys because this is one of the common issues that I see a lot of people just get stuck at. And I'm going to simplify it. Look, there is plenty of lists out there. I mean, you have 10 different types of lists that you can go and get. However, I'm going to keep it very simple. Simplicity is key in this business. Simplicity and consistency with the list is what's going to get you results. So what I'm going to be recommending is 2 types of lists. Number 1, it's called a high equity absentee list. What a high equity absentee list means is somebody owns a property in Phoenix, but their mailing address where they live is in a different area. So if I have a property in Phoenix and I live in Vegas, my mailing address is going to be the property in Vegas, which then I would be considered an absentee owner because I don't physically live in the property. Now, high equity simply means, well, number 1, equity is the difference between the property value and what the seller owes. So on a percentage, their equity percentage is 70% equity. It is the difference between what is owed and what the property is worth. So again, $100,000 value, they owe $30,000. Their equity percentage is 70%. So they have 70% equity on their property. Now, before I go into the criteria, I just want to explain number 2 because they're very similar. So an owner-occupied property is exactly what it sounds like. It's an owner-occupied property. You have a house and the seller lives in that house. So the property address is 123 Main Street, and then the mailing address is 123 Main Street. In an absentee home, the property address is 123 Main Street, and then the mailing address is the Las Vegas property, the out-of-state property, a different mailing address. So I hope that makes sense. Now, for the criteria, we're gonna keep it very simple. Number 1, 50% plus equity. We want all of our leads to have a minimum of 50% equity so it can give us the ability to negotiate and get a good price on every home that we try to get under contract. So again, if a house is worth $100,000, we're going to be targeting everybody that has 50% plus equity, so 50 to 100% equity. So this is everybody that has 50 to 100K paid off on their property. Now for criteria, again, these 2 lists are very similar. I want you guys to see the arrows on the right side here, and then I want you to read these red letters. Again, same criteria on these 2 lists. However, there's one difference, and that's just absentee versus owner occupied. So moving on with the criteria, again, similar criteria. The only difference is one's absentee and one's owner occupied. So when it comes to a city or a few zip codes, I personally recommend to do deals in your market simply because you know the market better than anybody else that doesn't live in the market. You have the upper hand because you have the knowledge of your own city and area. So choose your city or a few zip codes that you would like to target. Depending on your area, like here in Phoenix, you can literally target any area because buyers are buying everywhere. Now, for some areas, buyers are not buying everywhere. So this is where you would begin to talk to a few investors around town, ask them where they're buying. And then when you find out where buyers buyers are buying, then you can choose the area so you can supply the houses where the demand is. And again, you can contact a few investors in the area by going to any meetup groups, going on Facebook groups, calling a few realtors around town, and simply just being proactive and getting conversations with real estate professionals on a daily basis. Now for the third criteria, we're gonna do property type. And the property type that we're gonna be doing, we're gonna keep it very simple because this is what a lot of people complicate. We're gonna keep it extremely simple. We're going to be targeting single family residences, which is single family homes, which is just your regular homes. SFR is simply an acronym for single family residences, and that's exactly where we're going to be targeting. Now you're probably asking yourself, hey Alex, are we going to be targeting condos, land, etc.? The answer is yes. Eventually you can add that to your list, but initially, especially when you're first starting off, you want to keep it very simple because sometimes as a beginner, it's very hard to evaluate how much land is worth, how much condos are worth, how much commercial buildings are worth. So we're going to keep it very simple, and we're going to do single family residences. Now for the fourth criteria, major criteria, we're going to be doing what's called last market sell date, and all that means is when the seller bought their property. So if you see right here, before December 31st 1999, so we're going to be targeting homeowners that have bought their property before 1999. It's 2020 right now, so they're referred as 20 plus year owners. So 20 plus year absentee owners, 20 plus year owner occupied. So when you filter down your criteria like this, the chances that a homeowner has a distressed property are extremely higher than if they bought their property last year, because they've owned it for 20 years, and over time people neglect their homes. Sometimes they leave them vacant, and this just makes for a great marketing list. Now you will find people that have excellent homes and pristine homes that they've lived in for over 20 years, but at the same time, we're targeting 3% of the market, not 100% of the market. So that is it for criteria on what we're doing. Make sure that you write this down in your notes, and I'm gonna be showing you a live example on how to do it. Let's go. Guys, so here we have listsource.com. This is the service that I personally recommend. I've been using them for a few years. This is a company that CoreLogic owns. CoreLogic is a billion-dollar data company, so their data is very, very reliable. Now here we are on the homepage. We're gonna click Build List. So now we're here in the area where we can continue to build our list, or begin to build our list. Now, the first thing that we wanna do is geography, so our target area. I live in Arizona, so I'm going to click City, Arizona, and then I'm going to choose Glendale, Arizona, which is here, which is a city right next to Phoenix, Arizona. Where is it? Missing it. There we are. Glendale, Arizona, we're going to click that. 72,000 records. Do not be afraid by that because we're going to filter down the criteria. So now for the next criteria, we're going to go to property. And the first thing we want to do is property type. Again, single family residences, you can just scroll down here. SFR, we're going to add that. And now the next criteria is going to be our equity. So you go to equity percentage under the property tab, equity percentage, and we're going to choose 50 to 100%. We're going to add that. That number instantly dropped. And then the next thing we're going to do, which is the last criteria that I would like you guys to use. Again, we have our city, we have our equity, we have our property type. The next thing is the last market sell date. So when they bought the property. So we're gonna click on last market sell date. And then for here, we're gonna choose the dates on when the homeowners bought the property. So we're gonna put 12/31/1900 just to be safe. And then we're gonna put 12/31/1999 because we wanna target homeowners that have owned their property for 20 plus years. We're gonna add that, and now we have 5,633 records right here. And the last thing we want to do is you come to options, and then here you have an owner occupied status, and this is where you can choose between absentee, which is gonna bring our records to 473, and then we can choose owner occupied, which is gonna give us 5,000 records. Now when starting off, especially when you're on a budget, I would start with an absentee list. So here we have a list of 473 records. Again, we want 2,000 or 5,000 leads. If you have to get the 473, by all means buy this list. This is a very targeted list. However, if you can afford this list of 5,000, I would choose both of them. If you want to be more targeted, I would absolutely just target absentee owners. Now 473 leads is a little bit on the low side. So what you can do is you can add another city. So I would add a city like in my area, I would choose Avondale. So now we have 516. I would choose, Phoenix. And now we have more than 2,600 properties. So that's how you build a bigger absentee list. you can switch that back to owner occupied, which is a lot, but absentee is literally the main criteria that we want to go after. Now for the rest of the settings, we're actually going to take away Phoenix and Avondale, go back to our original count of 473. We're going to keep it at absentee owned, trustee owned properties. We're going to exclude them because they are hard to skip trace, and I'm going to be explaining that in the next videos. And the next, corporate owned properties, we're going to exclude them. This just means that it is an LLC that owns a property. We won't exclude that. And then for address completeness, make sure that you put both mailing and property address complete. This is how you're going to get your data back. So we want both the property address of the leads that we're going to be targeting, and then we want the mailing address so we can proceed with our marketing, which I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to market to this list. Guys, so now that you have all your criteria ready, you're going to go down here, you're going to purchase your list, you're going to enter your credit card, debit card information, make an account. Once you buy the list, you can export the list, and now you have a list, a marketing list that you're going to begin to market to. And I'm going to be showing you exactly how to do it over the next couple of days. And I want to remind you, every single step that we take along this journey is getting you this much closer for you to close your first deal in real estate. Guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video. The list works in every single market that I've used it in. This is one of the best lists. I know sometimes we get overwhelmed to find out about every single list, but guys, this list has worked like magic in every single market. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure that you like this video. It helps us extremely with the algorithm. Make sure you comment down below any questions you have. Make sure you share this video, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you do not miss a single video. And again, we have over 50 plus podcast episodes. You can find the link in the description. And also make sure that you text YouTube to the number right here below so we can communicate back and forth. You can ask me any questions on there. And also, if you would like to expedite your journey as a real estate investor, we do offer a course. However, you do not need to buy it, as I'm going to be posting step-by-step videos for absolutely free. But again, if you want to jump the learning curve, get access to it today, make sure that you check out the link in the description below. Guys, so today is day 6, and this morning got some news that kind of shook me up. And for those following the 30 days of wholesaling, I told you guys, and I promise you guys, that every single day for the month of May, I will be doing a video showing you step-by-step how to flip houses. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been a freaking challenge. Like yesterday, I'm running back and forth throughout town to deliver an SD card so we can get the video done the same day, and we got that done day 5. And today, I got a phone call early in the morning, and it was from our CFO, Brittany, our office manager. And come to find out, over the night, and you're probably wondering why I'm in this studio today, but over the night, my office caught on fire. Now, at first, I didn't really know what to think about, but when she said, hey, everything is gone, everything is burnt, I started to freak out. I'm like, how am I going to deliver another video to everybody watching this, depending on the 30 days of wholesaling, to learn? How am I going to, number one, keep my word and then stay consistent during the 30 days of wholesaling houses? So my mind started going everywhere. And, I showered, got ready, and went to the office. I pulled up, and oh my God, the office was completely burnt. Now, as I'm walking in, it's like one of those things where it's like a freaking movie, like where it just didn't make sense. So we watched the footage of, we have a camera inside the office. I watched that footage, and, come to find out, my computer, something electrical under my desk, started a fire, and then my freaking screen literally blew up in my office. Luckily, my door was closed. It's all glass. So everything in my office burnt. So at first, when Brittany called me, she called me and she told me what happened. I mean, for the first 3 minutes, I was going crazy. I'm like, wow, like what the heck? Like I have over $10,000 worth of books, my computer. I have a bunch of freaking files in my computer that weren't backed up on a drive. I had a 2-year personal development notebook and a bunch of notes that I've accumulated from my mentors, and then sessions with Dr. George Pratt. So a lot of stuff that was really irreplaceable, and I lost it all. I even had my Rolex and a diamond chain that I had, and it was completely burnt. Now, when I found out about the news, I was again going crazy. And on the way to the office, there was a sense of peace in my heart, like, hey, this is for us. And at first, I really didn't comprehend, but it took me back to a book that I read a few months ago called Power versus Force. And in the book, David Hawkins, he says something that really impacted me. And he said, it's not what happens to us, it's how we react to what happens to us that will determine whether that experience is going to be a negative or positive experience. So that message popped into my mind. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to react in faith. I'm going to be strong. I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm not going to fail you guys and give up the 30 days of wholesaling houses because of a resistance that I'm hitting personally. Now, the office is completely demolished. What I find super fascinating, guys, and I mean, thank God for this, is that only my office was burnt. The fire started about 10 p.m. last night, and it lasted literally for a few hours, and nobody called 911. Nobody driving down the street called. The fire literally went out on its own. One of our guys walked into the office at 8 a.m. He saw it, couldn't believe it. But guys, that never really happens. We have a 10,000 square foot building, and only my part of the office was damaged, and the fire stopped on its own. So God is good. But look, my point in all this is I'm not asking for pity or sympathy. I'm just sharing this message because, look, I'm human and stuff happens to me. But again, it's not about what happens to me. It's not about what happens to you. It's how we react to what happens to us. We have the ability to react in a positive or negative way. So I'm reacting in a positive way. We set up another studio here at my buddy Ephraim's office, and I'm gonna be delivering day by day for the rest of the month. And look, I'm committed to providing value to you guys. I'm committed to helping you change your life. If I'm committed to this, despite any circumstance and challenge that arises in my personal life and my business, I expect you to be committed during this process as much as I am. And without further ado, this is it for day 6, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in day 7. Let's go.